we now know a couple of things about the board of directors of GameStop going forward. We also know about the fact that Mr. Cohen is going to be the chairman of the board. Not a big surprise to most of us who've been following the GameStop story. We have known about that. We had heard about that. But the surprising announcement for me, in a way, is the fact that there will only be 6 board of director members of GameStop after the annual meeting is held. And I find that to be very interesting. I kind of like this idea because I get the impression that so much is happening so quickly at the corporate level at GameStop that I think Mr. Cohen and friends are deciding, why don't we just take it slow and be measured about it, and we'll bring people into the board that we know, we trust, we want, we like, and we'll solidify control of the company, bring in additional senior management to run the company, and as time goes on, we'll bring additional board members in. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. They've added 2 new members to the board. They've nominated 2 new people to fill out the 6-person board, even though we know 8 people who are presently on the board of directors are resigning from the board of directors. It's quite an interesting turnover, going from a large number of board members to a much smaller number of board members. The stock itself is up $10 this morning on the pre-market. It's sitting at 188.13 right now. The shares were in and around 172 this morning, roughly. I think that's where they were when I kind of got up. Noticed them down in the 173.90 ballpark. All right, 174, and then they kind of leveled up into this 175 range for a while. Backed off again to 174.20, and then started to pop. As soon as the announcement came out, the stock immediately went to the 180, 183 range, hovered around the 183.84 range, back to 182, and now up to 187.44. Volume pre-market, 384,000 shares. Not dramatic, but certainly more active than the other day. What's going to happen is the question as the day wears on here, as more analysis is held to figure out just what's up. Let me tell you the 2 new board members that are joining the company, so I can give you some other information. The first member, and I found this interesting for sure, is a gentleman named Larry Cheng, Cheng, Larry Cheng. He was the first ever investor in Chewy. And so, there is a synergy here between this gentleman and Mr. Cohen. No surprise, of course. Mr. Cohen will be the chairman of the board of the company, and he's going to need the board to be on his side. So Larry Cheng will definitely be a cheerleader for, Mr. Cohen's efforts. And I suspect that the 2 of them have had a long history together, and have challenged each other and have grown together, and took Chewy from nothing to a $3.5 billion company by the time Mr. Cohen stepped back from the company. Now, of course, it's publicly traded under the ownership of PetSmart, and it's well on its way to becoming very profitable. It'll become a very valuable company, and the game plan that Ryan Cohen put together at Chewy is obviously working out. Larry Cheng was the first investor in Chewy. He is the co-founder of a company called Volition Capital out of Boston, Massachusetts. Volition Capital is an equity investment firm, and he is leading the internet and consumer team, focusing on internet services, consumer brands, digital media, and gaming. Does that sound kind of like GameStop-ish to you? Does that sound like the future of GameStop that we've been talking about lately? It does to me, and that's a perfect synergy here. You can just see where Cohen is coming from his background, where Larry Cheng is coming with his background, and it's just a synergy of perfection, a perfect marriage between the 2. This will be a most interesting dynamic going forward. Obviously, Larry Cheng has access to capital. if needed. There will be no issue for GameStop down the road to do whatever it wants to do. Something tells me if GameStop came across a target company that they wanted to acquire, Larry Cheng and his contacts through the venture capital world, there shouldn't be any issue whatsoever to put whatever deal together is necessary to make something happen. So that was an interesting add-on. The second person coming onto the board is also interesting. This is a woman coming from Kraft Heinz company. This gal's name is Yang Zhu. And I'm assuming I'm pronouncing this correct. The last name, Y-A-N, first name, X-U is the last name. I think that's how you pronounce it, Zhu. She is currently the Senior Vice President of Global Finance and Treasury at Kraft Heinz Co. It's a pretty serious position. So we're talking about someone who's also in the finance side of a major player in the food business. Kraft Heinz is the world's 5th largest food company, period. The owners of Kraft Heinz, the largest shareholders, this is a publicly traded company, by the way, Kraft Heinz. Berkshire Hathaway owns 26.6% of the company, and 3G Capital owns 17.7% of the company. 3G Capital owns Burger King, Tim Hortons, Brazilian company. Berkshire Hathaway, of course. We're talking about Warren Buffett. That's who we're talking about here. Warren Buffett is the 26.6% owner of Kraft Heinz, with 17% held by 3G Cap. Put those two kids together, and you are dealing with 45% of the outstanding stock. In other words, pretty well full control of Kraft Heinz. Ms. Yang Zhu is a quick rising star in that entity. Now she's a director of GameStop. I think what we have here is a very strategic move here. It wouldn't surprise me if she and Larry Zhang know each other. Probably have dealt together. Who knows? There's usually some sort of a personal connection with some of these people. They know of each other, or they know others who know of each other. And something is telling me that it could be that down the road, not too far down the road, there might be additional involvement with GameStop in one form or another through the possibility of the large players that control or are involved with Kraft Heinz. Serious dough here. This is a most interesting move, and yet only 2 directors are being brought in from the outside. I was waiting for, and I've been telling you, I was looking for 8 new directors. I thought that's what was going to happen. 8 resign. I figured 8 would be replaced. No, only 2 are being replaced. The rest are not being replaced at this time, and only 6 board members. I think of the 6, 5 are Cohen loyalists, is my guess. Cohen himself and 4 others. The 2 he brought with him from Chewy, and now the 2 new. And then there's Mr. Sherman, who's still on the board of directors, but he won't be the chairman. It'll be Ryan Cohen's show. He'll own 5 of 6 board seats. And I kind of get the feeling that maybe as the weeks go by and the months go by after June, when all this is done, June 9th, by the way, is the annual meeting, June 9th. So that's 2 months from now. Maybe July, August, September. Would there be other board members coming in, an invitation of the chairman of the board of the company? Or could GameStop be acquiring companies and growing out their portfolio in the e-commerce and e-sport business, in the wagering business? We've been speculating about all kinds of possibilities here, and board members will be brought in from these acquired companies. These directors are looking at upside from there forward, and so this move from now to there won't affect them. A very interesting move. That I like this a lot. I really like this kind of a move. This is Cohen saying to you, the shareholders, that there's no free ride here for directors. Just because you're a director doesn't mean you've hit the jackpot. No, I'm bringing directors in who have a vision of the future of this company, like I have, who can bring something to the table, and bring us an outside perspective that we need, and help us to either raise capital if we need to raise capital, or help us evaluate deals, or get us to people who can help us evaluate deals. On and on it goes. And with the Kraft Heinz connection, I like that a lot. That's pretty solid, really solid financial connection through Berkshire Hathaway and through 3G Capital. I kind of like that a lot. And with Larry Chang coming in from Volition Capital, yes, this is what I'd like to hear, what I want to see. These are the kinds of people I would like to have on the board of directors advising Mr. Cohen. In other words, Mr. Cohen doesn't have to worry about paying the bills. He doesn't have to worry about raising capital. He doesn't have to worry about finding people to draw on for advisory services in a takeover deal, a merger deal, whatever it is. And of course, we're talking about with Mr. Chang, someone who is very well versed in the e-commerce side of the deal. This is exactly what we want to have happen. Now, as I said before, could Elon Musk join this board next year? Yeah, could. Could Larry Ellison join the board? Yeah. Mark Cuban? Yeah. Can people from Microsoft or other companies join the board? Yeah, could. Question is, who does Mr. Cohen want on the board? I think what he's going after, and what he seems to be getting here, are people who are very much aware of what he's up to, familiar with him, and more hands-on rather than distant advisory. Although Yang Zhu will be interesting to watch her involvement going forward with this company as time goes on. Yeah, I like the fact that she's part of global finance and treasury at Kraft. Yeah, the treasury division of Kraft. I like this. Yeah, I like this a lot. Again, thank you all of you for being here and asking these questions. I appreciate it.